Chris Mikowski of Emerging Civil War. I'm spending the day with Tim Talbot here at Pamplin Historic Park in Petersburg, and we're now exploring some of the outside parts of the property beyond the museum. And tell us what we're looking at now, Tim.
So right behind us is Tudor Hall house. This was the Boysaw family's home from 1812 until, of course, after the Civil War. They're going to be living here, working this land with the enslaved people on the property. And as we mentioned earlier, General Samuel McGowan is going to be making his headquarters here for about 6 months of the Petersburg campaign. So he's going to have his headquarters here. And from what we understand, the family left the farm and allowed McGowan to take it over and use it for his headquarters.
Now, tell us about the plantation that was here, because this you said is the only original structure on the property that still exists. So this was a working farm, a working plantation before the army showed up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, for many years. I mean, Mr. Boysaw is going to start this plantation in about 1810, living in a temporary structure until 1812 when the house behind us was built. And then as the years pass, the decades go on, he's going to constantly reinvest more of his profits, main growing tobacco, into purchasing more acreage and more enslaved people until he grows an enslaved labor force to be about 51 or 52, and then almost 1,000 acres total in his holdings.
And you said mostly tobacco to start with?
Mostly tobacco to start with. He's going to be focusing on that as the cash crop, also growing a lot of corn as well to feed the animals on the plantation and feed the humans on the plantation as well.
So what are some things that the park does to help interpret what life was like here at Tudor Hall?
So we've recreated a lot of outbuildings that you would find on the plantation landscape. And these are examples that still survive in Dinwiddie County or surrounding counties to help our visitors better understand a lot of the work that was going on around the plantation. So for instance, we have a kitchen quarter where the cooking was being done. We have, in addition with that, a laundry and a spinning and weaving room. We have a barn here, a tobacco barn, and several other outbuildings, just to help people better understand what a plantation landscape would have looked like in the mid-19th century.
Now, you mentioned the kitchen, so I'm going to swing us around like this. I love having this little stick. There's the kitchen right there. Kitchen not attached to the house. Explain to folks why that's the case.
So the kitchens usually were detached for both theoretical as well as practical reasons. With a kitchen, of course, there's always a fire constantly going to prepare the meals. And there is a chance of it causing fire. So that would be a separate building. But there's also that division of owner versus owned, a separation of the races as well. And they're going to have their living quarters upstairs in this building that you see behind me and do the work on the ground floor. So it's usually very typical to find this type of structure in Virginia, which is a duplex building that shares a central chimney, the kitchen on one side, textile, laundry, production on the other side.
Now, as we came up to the property, I noticed a sign that said the big house. And then, as you said, there are recreated barns and other structures. So as a visitor comes up here, how do you like to help them sort of explore the property?
That's a great question. So there's two different ways, really. We offer each day, presently at 11 a.m., a walking tour of the plantation landscape. Tour lasts about 45 minutes. But if they don't have time to do that, or they're not able to be here when we're giving a tour, those audio devices that we showed you inside the museum, those visitors can bring them outside as well, and there's information on there about the plantation.
Now, as the father of a 4-year-old, I hear chickens in the background. So I've got to point that out because I'm sure families have young kids that would be delighted by the livestock in the garden and stuff like that. So there's a working farm component to this to some extent, right?
Yes, we tried to grow a crop demonstration field, which shows things like the subsistence crop of corn. We also grow a demonstration plot of tobacco and a couple of garden plots that show representative items that would have been grown for consumption. We have the chickens that you mentioned, both here at Tudor Hall as well as down at the field quarter, and we also have 10 or 12 sheep as well.
Okay, I noticed your thumb was a little green, so you're the guy in charge of the gardens, huh?
Yeah, another hat to wear.
We're exploring Pamplin Historic Park. I'm with Tim Talbot. Lots to see today, lots to explore. Here we're at Tudor Hall to get a sense of what civilian life was like here at the park. So join us for more videos. Lots coming up later today.